on everyone's mind, as we have 8 people waiting and I feel sad. Why is it sending data still? Oh, are we live on YouTube now, finally? Is it connecting? I see
we have 8 people waiting to join us.
Still. Oh, we are live on YouTube. Hallelujah. Okay. Sorry. It's a bit of a challenge, to say the least. Okay. So people on YouTube were a little bit confused because it was saying starting soon and nothing was happening. So anyway, Paige, you have to introduce yourself all over again, and then we're gonna go into our coding because technical difficulties on my end. I'm really sorry about that. This is our first time doing this guest coder writer section, so bear with me.
Hi, my name is Paige Besthoff, and I teach digital technology in New Jersey. I teach grades 2 through 5. We learn coding and robotics. I also teach the gifted and talented program and business classes. So very excited about using Elementari to write stories and be able to use it in my classroom in September.
Awesome. So this week has really been about writing an About Me book, because when we go back to school, that's usually what we do. And of course, I think everyone likes to write about themselves to some degree. So today we're going to do an activity, which is to write a paragraph or a couple sentences about yourself, and then record a voiceover and then code it to play. So the first thing Paige is going to do is she's going to start a new story. So she didn't do any of the animations that we did yesterday. If you are interested in animating your name or any animations, there is a video replay of yesterday's session, so you can check that out. We also just have tutorials that just kind of show you what all the functions do. And finally, just for everyone's information, starting today, as you can see, we have a guest. We're going to try to bring guests from all around the world to come in to code with us, because having me code all the time is a little bit boring, and there's only so much I can do by myself. And I think it's just really great and really interesting to meet people, because I don't really go out, quarantine and all, so it's a great way for me to meet new people online, and hopefully a way for all of us to kind of connect and just see how coding can be used in our lives, in our classrooms, at home, and in different contexts. So let's get started, Paige. Write a story. So if you haven't, create an account. You can follow along. Paige is a newcomer, just like you guys. So she's going to ask me all the hard questions, and if things break, it's going to be very interesting for me. So let's go.
Okay, so I'm at the Write a New Story page.
Okay, you're going to click on the blank project or continue your project. It doesn't matter.
I'll start a new one. Okay. Okay. All right, so I need to think of a good title, huh?
The Secret Life of Paige.
I like that.
3 things you wish you didn't know about me.
Okay, very good. Now, if I wanted to, could I change my name down here?
Yeah, you can change anything. Just type it in. You can just put Paige. You can put the most awesome teacher in the world.
Okay, ready to go.
Okay, so if you're familiar with PowerPoint, it looks kind of similar to that, or Google Slides. And now, Paige, it's time for you to unleash your creative side and to maybe, I don't know, add some images if you want, or a background at least.
I'm going to search for something, maybe a computer, something techie. Let's see. Some robots. All right, I'm going to go with this one here.
So Paige is joining us from a wonderful area that has tons of power outages right now. So she has braved disaster to come here today and join us.
Yeah, I wonder if anybody else that's joining us was in the path of the storm. Okay, can I change the background here? It's gray. Can I add a color to that?
Yeah, so what do you think you should do? Go to the sidebar, you have text, image, and then you have backgrounds. In the middle, the square.
Let's see, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm gonna make it blue. Ooh, very nice. Okay. All right, I think I'm good.
Awesome. So then all you have to do now is add a new page.
Okay, so I'm gonna click page, and here's my inside. Okay, great. All right, so I'm gonna do another background. Oh, I can do scenes. Okay, let's see. Gonna do something outside since I'm stuck inside, and I like this one right here. Very nice. Okay, so now I need my characters, and I'm gonna go back and look for those robots. And now I need me. So let's see, images, and should I look for girl or female, or does it not matter?
We'll see.
Okay, let's see.
Girl probably pops out with some stuff.
I typed in girl, so let's see. I like this one. All right, so, all right, now question. Do I need to let them switch places, or can I flip them?
You can flip them. So if you click on them, then
Okay.
there's a little icon in the top toolbar next to lock. So if you see lock,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, that looks just like in Google. Okay, good. So I'm giving my robot some cookies. All right, I'm going to make him a little bit smaller. Let's see, can I shrink him?
So you want to go in the top corners. You have the corners.
I see. Okay, very good.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that way it doesn't become too skinny or too fat.
Excellent. Okay, good. Yeah, keeps it in perspective. Okay, very good. All right, so I'm going to add some text now. I would like to say I like to bake cookies for my robot friends. Okay, so.
Do you have robot friends?
Yeah, I have a lot of robot friends. I don't know if you can see them in the picture behind me. Okay, so I'm going to grab this speech bubble here.
How many robots do you have?
Currently at home with me, I have 3 robots with me. Okay, let's see. I like to bake.
It seems like something went wrong with the save.
Okay.
You might need to reload the page. It might be the connection.
It says I'm connected.
No, it might just be lost some packets, and therefore just press F5 to refresh or refresh.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, I didn't press save in the program. Will it have saved it for me?
I guess we'll see. Depends on when the save went through. So yeah, the lady's not there anymore.
Okay, that's all right. Okay. Now that I know where to find everything, it'll be super quick. Okay, so get my image. Type in girl. I'm wondering if I type in girl with cookies. No.
Probably not. It's not that smart yet.
That's okay. All right, we're smart. We can be smart enough for them. Okay, and here's my girl with cookies. And let's flip her. See, now that you know where everything is, it's so much quicker. All right, and I need to get my speech bubble again. I like this nice round one. Now, if I wanted to save it on my own, because I know that I have power issues, would I be able to save it on my own as well?
No, it just auto saves normally.
Okay. All right, Oh, so just like Google. So that's good because that's all my students are used to that. I like to bake cookies. I robot. Okay. Now I need to adjust my speech bubble. And now what if I want to change the font style?
You just go to permanent marker. So that's the current font.
Okay.
And then there's a drop down, and then you can choose a font that's easier to read or harder to read if you're.
Okay, I think I'm good.
Awesome. Okay.
So now we're ready for the next page.
Yeah, but I think right now let's try to code our voiceover. And then we can see how we go from there. So in order to code your voiceover, you need to first record a voiceover. So to record a voiceover, you go to the Sounds tab.
Okay.
And there's a big orange button, Record Voiceover.
Very good.
Okay, you allow for the microphone. Yep. And then you press the button, so the gray button. You press the center. There's going to be a 3, 2, 1 countdown, and then after that, you will need to speak whatever you're trying to say.
Okay, I guess I'll just read what I wrote on the screen. Okay. I like to bake cookies for my robot. I think he likes my cookies. They're usually chocolate chip. Okay, so I guess I can listen to it and see what it says?
Yeah, so you can take a listen.
I like to bake cookies for my robot. I think he likes my cookies. They're usually chocolate chip. All right, so I guess I can name, it says to add record name, so I'm going to add cookies for my robot. And save. Okay, good. Okay, what's next?
Awesome. So now you recorded a sound, but it's not playing because you need to code it to play.
Okay.
So in order to code it to play, you have to go to the back side of the page. To do that, you click on the button Event Graph at the top, and it'll flip the page to the back side. So here is where you can code everything. So in this case, we're going to code a sound that you recorded to play. You can also code a background music to play, or have a text effect to play, or do all sorts of things. So all of your code and interaction and fancy stuff goes in this side of the page.
So I noticed that over here on the right-hand side that all the icons changed to coding language from like Google Slide type language.
Yeah. So we use the same language. Functions, it's in all programming languages, variables, things like that. And we want to keep it consistent. So even if you're not a computer programmer, it's fine because it just gives you exposure to what these vocabulary means. And we're using it in the right context in this case. So let's first grab an event because we like events. Events tell us when we're going to do something. In this case, you have choices. You can do it on page start, or you can do it when you click on the girl or click on the robot. Or if you want to be very creative, you could do something like when you drag something over something.
I think we're going to go with on click. So when I click on the girl, she'll speak. Is that good?
Yeah, so you have 2 on clicks. You have one that's on click and another one that's on click once. So the difference between those two is one executes every time you click on it, and the other one just executes it once. So it only does it once.
Okay, but in case I get called away while I'm in the middle of reading, I'll be able to go back and click on it again if I do it on click, correct?
Yes. So you could
So
just keep on spamming it.
Right. But if I just do it on click once, then it won't play again a second time.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to go with the on click.
Great. Okay. So what are we going to click? Well, we need to choose what we're going to click. So go to Objects. And when you click on Objects, you'll see all the objects on the page. So what are we clicking?
Okay. I'm going to click on myself. So the girl with the cookies. Okay. So when I click, when I click myself, I want to be able to hear what I wrote.
Okay, great. So now you have to connect the blocks together because right now they're not really talking to each other. They're not telling each other what they're going to do. So you want to connect the girl, the image, and you want to connect this object to the on-click block. So
Okay.
there's a little circle. You're going to grab the circle. It doesn't matter which one, yeah, and then you're just going to connect them together like that.
Very nice. Okay.
Okay, so now now you can click on this girl, but nothing's happening, and that's completely normal because we don't have anything happening yet. And to make something happen, we're going to use a function. So functions are our actions. They tell the computer what they're going to do. So in this case, we want to play a recorded sound. So you're just going to scroll down, play, record sound. Yep, that one.
Okay.
Great.
Okay.
Okay. So on click, you're going to play the recorded sound. So you're going to grab the triangle, the white triangle. Yep. And you're going to connect it together.
Okay,
so,
great.
Yeah, right now yep.
I was going to say, now I have to choose which sound I wanted to play. Is that correct?
Perfect. You are totally ahead of the game.
Okay, so it says select a sound, and here's what I named it, Cookies for My Robot. Okay, so that's why I named it that, something very specific, so this way I would know what it was, because if I just wrote sound 1 or sound 2, I wouldn't remember which one each was. So, okay, I gave it a title that I would remember. Okay.
Great. Yeah, I often name my sounds page 1 and page 2, and then it turns out terribly in the end.
You know,
Okay.
I tell my students all the time to make sure to be very specific so they remember.
Good things to keep in mind, even for life. I have file cabinets that I just put like clothes on. And I'm like, what kind of clothes did I put in there? Not so sure. So now we need to preview in order to see the code execute and run properly. And if it runs properly, we should be able to click on the girl and hear the sound play. So let's see if it works.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to press preview.
Yep.
I like to bake cookies for my robot. I think he likes my cookies. They're usually chocolate chip. Oh, that is so awesome.
Yeah. And so you notice that the girl is glowing, and that means that this object can be interacted with. So we do that on our end so people can know that you can click on it. Otherwise, it's so easy to just miss things.
Right. Now, if I put my mouse over the robot, nothing happens. But if I put my mouse over the girl, the hand appears.
Yes.
So that, okay.
Yep, that's
Wonderful.
for if you're on a device that has a mouse. Otherwise, if you're using touch, the only thing we have is a visual input to see whether or not, okay, can I maybe click on it? Is it glowing? Is it like sparkly?
Now, I could use this on my tablet and iPad as well?
Yes, you can use it on tablet and iPad as well. So Chromebook, tablet, iPad, and when you publish it, you can read it on your phone. You just can't create on your phone because it's a little small.
Oh, very, very cool. Okay. All right. So I'm going to close the preview.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Very good.
Okay, so let's try something called sequencing functions. I'm sure you're very familiar with this, but basically, a sequence is, you want to tell people?
Yep. Yeah. So when something goes in steps. So if I was teaching English language arts, there's a part of when you teach that you teach your students, first you do this, next you do that, then you do that. So that is a sequence. When you make cook a recipe, when you teach math and you're looking at recipes, first you put in the flour, then you put in the milk, then you put in the eggs. So everything has to go in order. So that's what a function is.
Yeah, so
I'm sorry, that's what a sequence is.
So
Sequences, yes.
can put functions in a sequence.
Okay.
And so that's probably the next step that you want your kids to do. Once they've recorded a sound, they can make it play. Maybe we want to do a sequence next because that's kind of the next step of coding. And it's also just the next step if you want to make your story more interesting. You want to be able to sequence different functions together. So do you want to do it on this one or you want to make a new page? I was thinking maybe you can have the robot say yum afterwards or something.
Ooh, I like that idea. That's a great idea.
Okay. So first we need to record the sound. So
Okay.
how does a robot
So
say
I'm
yum?
gonna
Yum.
Yum. Okay, so do I have to go back to,
Yes, you need to go back to the layout design. So click the
okay.
button at the top.
Okay, and then I'm going to click on the robot.
No, you need to record a sound.
Okay, and click sounds.
Yep.
And record voiceover. And ooh, yum. Okay, let's listen. Ooh, yum. Okay, so I'm going to name it Robot Yum. Save. Okay, and then I guess we go back to the event graph.
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay. All right,
Okay.
now I'm ready.
Okay. Now what function do we need?
Okay, the play record sound.
Yep, you're going to get the same function that we just used. So go grab that function, drag it on the page, or
Okay.
click on it if you have trouble dragging.
Yeah, no, I'm good. Okay.
Okay.
And select the sound and click my robot yum. Now we don't have the robot on here yet.
So you can do a couple of things. You can click on the robot and then make him say yum, or we can have him say yum after you play the first recorded sound. So it could be like, I made cookies. Cookies are so delicious. And then it's like yum right after.
Okay.
So let's try the sequence so that way we can show what a sequence looks like. And in order to
Okay.
sequence two functions together, we're going to connect. Well, first of all, let's see if you can kind of figure it out.
All right, well, first I need the robot object. Is that correct? Do I need to add the robot object or no?
Are we doing anything with the robot object? Are we clicking on him?
Are we gonna click on him? No, we're gonna let him speak right after I speak. Okay, so then we don't need the robot. All right, so I guess right after I speak my cookies, then I would attach that to the robot speaking.
Yep, that's exactly right. So you're just gonna follow the arrows, or not really arrows, the triangles. So from left to right.
Right. So, okay, so as soon as I click on the girl, she says, she speaks, and then as soon as she's done speaking, the robot speaks. So that's the sequence, that's the order that it's gonna go in.
Yes.
Right? All right, so I'm gonna press preview and see how that looks. Okay, click on it. I like to bake cookies for my robot. I think he likes my cookies. They're usually chocolate chip. Ooh, yum. Very cute. Okay.
Great. So that would be an example of how you would do the functions in sequence. Maybe if we want to go a little bit further, we can also do functions in parallel. So that's a really fancy word. It makes me remember math when you have parallel lines. But parallel is used in coding to basically say when you have two things occurring at the same time. So parallel is used. Sometimes you say multi-threaded, but I like parallel, so we're going to stick with parallel.
I like that too.
So maybe one thing that we want to do is let's try like fading in the dialogue when you speak. So that way it's you don't have the text just there and then you click on it and then you hear the text. It's kind of weird.
Okay.
So let's try to fade in the text at the same time that the recorded sound is going to play. So we're going to grab a function. It's one of my favorite functions. It's called fade. And that's because it's at the very, 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 very top.
Oh, I missed it.
Yeah, I think you missed it. It's third.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah,
Okay.
fade. So this is a
Okay.
great
You
function.
have to remember. Okay, got it. Good. Okay.
Awesome.
Now, can I shrink the size of the?
The blocks?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so you have a
I need-
plus at the top. You have like a trash can, a little square, and a minus and a plus. Yeah,
Very
so
good.
if you use the
Okay.
minus, you can
I'm
shrink
going to
it.
make them a little bit bigger so everybody at home can see them, but make it a little bit small so this way I can see. Okay, very good. Okay. So it says effect is fade in and direction. It says none. So what are our options here? Okay, so what do the directions do for the fade?
So we can try it out. Let's try to the right, maybe.
Okay.
We try to the right. And we
And-
need something that we're fading in. What are we fading in?
I guess when the robot speaks, how's that sound? Attach that to here. Okay. All right, and I guess preview?
Okay, let's preview.
Okay. I like to bake cookies for my robot. I think he likes my cookies. They're usually chocolate chip. Ooh, yum.
So
Okay.
nothing seems to have changed. Let's take a
Nope.
look at the code again.
Okay.
And let's try to debug it and see what we're trying to do.
I had it fade after he speaks. Is that correct?
So the question is, what are we fading?
Nothing.
Yep, we're fading nothing.
Okay.
So nothing will happen.
Okay. So I would need to move the links somewhere. So how do I get it back?
So you can delete it. So select the connection. Yeah, just right click on the connection on the line.
No.
I mean, not right click, left click. Just click on the connection.
Okay.
Yeah, and
There
then you
you
just
go.
delete
Okay.
it.
There you go. Okay, good. Okay. Would it get connected to? No, because that's not giving me the option to connect it there.
Nope.
Right, it has to be the big white arrows.
It has to be the
When
big
they
white
check.
arrows.
Right, okay. So let's see.
So try grabbing the arrow again.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you have 3 choices that you can connect them to.
I'm thinking here.
Yep.
Okay.
So that
Because
means-
I wanted to take place before the robot's actually speaking.
So this is occurring at the same time, not before. This is at the same time.
Okay, so that's where you're talking about the parallel.
So this
because
is parallel.
the two lines are together at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because the way that I had it connected before, it was happening after the robot already spoke.
Yeah, that would have been a sequence. So
Okay.
this is parallel.
Okay.
Well, hold on.
Oh, okay.
We still haven't figured out what we're fading in.
Oh, okay. So, Okay, so the effect is fade in and directions are to the right. And so we didn't say what object.
Yeah.
Okay, so then I need to add the robot because I want the robot's voice. Okay. And there, and the hint here was the purple.
Yes. So
Okay.
every function needs to have an object. You can't just leave the little purple circle by itself. It doesn't like that very much. It needs to have it needs to be connected to something.
Okay, so that was the clue. Okay. All right, so now I can press preview, correct?
Yes, now you can press preview.
Okay, I was so excited I jumped ahead. Okay. Oh, my robot's gone. I I like to bake cookies for my robot. I think he likes my cookies. They're usually chocolate chip. Ooh, yum. Okay, so he just appears.
Yes.
All right, so that's the fade. So now I'm going to change the fade. Now, are you able to change how fast he fades?
No, you can just change the direction of where he fades. So this time he faded in to the right, but you can also just make him fade in directly.
So that would be none?
None is just, he just fades in directly.
Okay. All right, so let's take a look. I like to bake cookies for my robot. I think he likes my cookies. They're usually chocolate chip. Ooh, yum. Okay, I like that. Very nice. Okay. I might move him over a little bit. All right. So if I want to move him over, I could go back to layout design.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And move him just a drop. Okay. Now I'm going to go back. Now, can I preview from here as well?
Yeah, you can preview from here as well. Just click on the button.
I like to bake cookies for my robot. I think he likes my cookies. They're usually chocolate chip. Ooh, yum. Okay, I'm happy with that. Very good.
Awesome. So maybe you want your students to maybe write more sentences. You know, nowadays it's really hard to get them to write.
Yes.
And so one way that we can do that is by giving them a template to kind of position their text. Because another thing that I find that's challenging is when I was teaching, at least, I had kids who would write in pink font on light pink background. And that makes it really difficult to read, usually with super curly cursive font.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you doing this on purpose?
No, my favorite is when they change each word as a different color. Then you can't read it at all.
Well, you can't do that on elementary. You can only change all of the text color to just one color.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
We don't allow that much freedom. Could be good, could be bad. Like, if you really want to change each individual letter to be each individual color, you can have multiple text boxes, each with its own letter. But that's a lot more annoying. So you see there's a little arrow next to or a little triangle down button next to the plus page. You're going to click on that. And you can choose from 4 different kind of layouts, or maybe you want to use the same exact slide and the same exact code and maybe change it up a bit. You can just duplicate that slide. So this is really good if you're, using the same scene over and over and over again, or if you're using the same type of code over and over and over again. So for example, like a multiple choice quiz, you're going to use the same code for every single multiple choice question and answers, almost. Minus maybe, what page it's going to go to or what the response will be. But generally, it's going to be very, very similar. So duplicate is really cool for that. But you could just choose one of the layouts, maybe have the text on the right or the text on the left or on the top or on the bottom.
I'm going to go with the first one, text on the left. Okay.
Yeah, so then it adds a little bit of the transparent black sort of thing, so that way you can more easily see the text no matter what background you choose.
Okay, I'm going to go with let's see.
It might take a while for internet
Yeah,
to download everything.
I'm definitely slow. Okay, here we go. All right, so add a little bit of body text. And it's the same. Oh, it's the same font that I already picked, so that's good. I don't have to go back and change it. We like in the woods. Okay. So now I'm going to add my 2 objects again.
If you want the same objects, you can also go to the previous page.
Okay.
And you can just copy it and paste it on different
wonderful.
pages.
Okay, can I copy both at the same time?
I think so, if you just select both at the same time. So you just you can drag it and select. Like if you, okay. You could also use Control C, Control V to copy.
Yeah, that's, there we go. Okay. I was able to press Shift and select them both at the same time. Okay, but now I'm holding cookies and lemonade. I don't know if I want to bring my cookies and lemonade with me.
It's okay. Take the cookies anywhere. That's the way to go.
Okay. All right. So we're taking a walk in the woods. Okay, good. So, should I have us speak?
Yeah, so you can maybe do like a narration, and we can try adding a voiceover and making it play at the beginning, for example.
Okay, so I'm going to click sounds, record voiceover. Okay, my robot and I like to go for walks in the woods, but sometimes I have to bring the cookies and lemonade with me because he gets awful hungry while we're out walking. My robot and I like to go for walks in the woods, but sometimes I have to bring the cookies and lemonade with me because he gets awful hungry while we're out walking.
Yeah, so also another tip is you can also trim the sound. So if kids don't speak quite yet after, or if they speak too late after the 3, 2, 1 countdown, you can just trim that part off. Or if they have extra stuff at the end, they can just trim that off too to have the right amount.
All right, good. Just like any other editing program.
Yeah, you just click on trim, and then you can adjust the sides to where you want to trim. In your case, probably not the beginning.
All right, okay. Let's move that over a drop and let's listen. My robot and I like to go for walks in the woods, but sometimes I have to bring the cookies and lemonade with me because he gets awful hungry while we're out walking. Okay, I'm happy. All right, and I saved it. Okay, there we go. And then I see that it appears up here.
Yeah, so if you click on that has all of the sounds on your page. It'll also include your backgrounds or background music, as well as any sound effects that you have chosen.
All right. So can we add a background sound?
Yeah. Let's add a background sound. You probably want to go on the first page, so then it plays at the very, very beginning of your book. Otherwise, it's kind of weird.
Okay, let's see. What's the dance waltz?
So you could preview it.
Okay, I like that. So I'm going to click the plus sign.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so now it's telling me that I need to go to the event graph to add it. Now, question for you, are we able to change the volume of the background music?
Yeah, so you can change the volume. You'll see it in the function. So go to event graph.
Okay. And do I have to start with an event?
Yep, you always need to start with an event.
Okay,
Otherwise...
so I'm going to do this one on page start.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and function, play music, correct?
Yep, play music is right.
Okay, and afternoon waltz is what I picked, and here's the volume. Wonderful. Okay, so I'm going to put it down to about 40% because it was really loud. And
yeah, we already adjust the volume when you press preview. So it shouldn't be as loud as the audio.
Okay.
But you can take a look.
Okay, let's see. Repeat yes. So it's going to keep playing throughout all the whole story.
Yes.
If I click yes. Okay, so let's see. Preview. Oh, I like that. Okay, so it's just loud enough so that you can hear it without being overbearing. Okay, and I assume this little arrow bouncing is telling me I should move on.
Yeah, you can click on it to navigate to the next page.
Oops, I'm upside down.
Ah, it's kind of weird. It's okay.
I'm gonna click on myself and I like to bake cookies for my robot. I think he likes my cookies. They're usually chocolate chip. Ooh, yum.
Awesome.
Very good. Okay, and then let's go to slide 3. And
He's
I'm still
upside down. Okay, great. So aside from being upside down, that is a bug. So we're gonna figure out why that's the case and fix that. So
I wonder if I did something in
oh
the
no,
code.
if
No?
I think it's because of the flip. And instead of flipping X, it was also flipping Y in our code. So we have to fix that on our end. But what I'm kind of confused is why is it, can you preview here? And because it was working before.
Yes, it was.
Maybe it was when you copied it, then it did something weird.
That's what I'm wondering. All right,
I will look into that. No.
I was going to say I'll delete me and then I'll put it back in and see what happens.
I'm pretty sure it'll be okay at that point. I think it had to do with the copy and paste. So, yeah, that's a very interesting scenario. I never really found that one quite yet. So, thanks.
Okay. All right, so now I'm going to go here. Now, I didn't hear this play, I guess because we didn't put in the code yet. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Did I put it in? Okay, so now I'm
Got
going.
distracted.
That's okay. All right, so now we need the event. And I think I'm going to do this on page start as well. And play record sound. And it's going to start. Walking in the woods.
You're a pro.
Yeah, well, you know, once you figure out what it's asking you to do, it's intuitive. You get, you know, in a flow and you just know what's supposed to come next. So let's see. All right, so I'm going to go here. Preview. That's okay. I like to bake cookies for my robot. I think he likes my cookies. They're usually chocolate chip. Ooh, yum. My robot and I like to go for walks in the woods, but sometimes I have to bring the cookies and lemonade with me because he gets awful hungry while we're out walking. All right, good.
Okay, so aside from the upside down lady, we're all good.
Okay. Yeah, I wonder if I had not copied and pasted it, if it would have been okay.
Yeah, I think it was the copy and paste that did something weird. So I will investigate that on our end and fix that ASAP. But yeah, it just takes a lot of testing, so it's hard to.
Well, that's the whole point, is, you know, to constantly debug. You know, our students all know that they have to look at everything step by step and then debug. A lot of times the, you know, students want to just write the whole program all at once and then they don't look to see if it's working or not, which is why I keep going and previewing it, because I tell them all the time, you write some code, you check it, you write your code and check it, so this way you see where your bugs are.
Yeah, that's really, really important. Like, as a coder, if you ask anybody who programs, the amount of time they spend debugging is over 50% of their time coding.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So you think that they're like on their keyboards, like being like keyboard ninjas, like it's like no, that's not the case. Most programmers I know type pretty slow. Actually, some like it's not a big skill to type fast if you're a programmer, because most of the time it's gonna be wrong.
And I tell them it's really important that they're accurate. I said accuracy over speed. This way you know that you're typing the right code.
Awesome. So yeah, I hope this helped those viewers at home to understand a little bit more about coding, and just show that coding isn't really that scary. It's not always about, you know, robots and making computer games. It can be, and that's really cool, but it could just be something, to just make your story cool. Like, you don't need to know exactly what a function is or what an event is, or even what all these vocabulary means. I mean, that's part of what we're trying to help, is trying to promote the use of this vocabulary and just understanding of these concepts. But you don't need to have a computer science degree to code on elementary. That's all I'm saying. That's the whole point. And yeah, 99% of the teachers actually don't have any understanding of coding. Paige here is the exception. She is the computer science teacher, but most of the teachers I work with are English teachers, either for ELA or ELL or ESL, maybe some French teachers, and occasionally music teachers. So
yeah, I think that for me, that to bring it to my regular classroom teachers who teach all subjects, that the students are going to be able to do so much more with reports. Instead of just writing a report, I studied about mountains. Mountains are big, mountains are tall. They can actually to create something like this and really be able to be more interesting and be able to get a point there across, get their point across, creatively. So I really like the idea of bringing this into the regular classrooms, not just for computer science.
yeah, and I think we saw it already with how you did your voiceovers. You didn't exactly read word for word what your dialogue was saying, but you used your voiceover to add additional information that you couldn't have seen if it was just a visual slide. And that's really important because anybody, like any creator, can therefore use multiple mediums and ways to communicate, whether that's animation, whether that's having just text on a page, whether that's having a voiceover or music. There's lots of ways to enable creativity and just different modes of communication that's really unique to digital narratives and digital media.
Well, this was just so much fun.
Well, yeah, I hope that, your area is all safe. And I don't know if anybody in the chat has any questions. I feel like our chat is very quiet all the time. Nobody likes to talk. Everybody's just chilling and listening in and watching. But if anyone has any questions for Paige, now this is your moment to shine. And let us know what you think, or if you have any questions, listening in and watching.
They could also follow us on Twitter or Facebook. Let them know where to find us on Elementari. And if they can always ask us questions afterwards, too.
Definitely. And like I said, this is a new format that I'm going to try to do just because I see a lot of teachers teaching in different subject areas. And I think it's kind of interesting to see how writing and coding can be kind of integrated for different subject areas, different age groups. I think next week I'll have a kindergarten teacher coming in, so that'll be pretty fun. I'm like, your kids can't even read. I guess we'll figure something out.
No, but they can do the voiceovers. And you know what? The fact that everything's color coded, that I knew that I needed the purple because it was empty, that the kindergartens will definitely be able to do it because they can do the voiceover and they can look at the different colors. So some of them will know how to read a little bit.
Yeah, so it'll be pretty fun. And I think tomorrow we will be doing 2 truths, 1 lie. So in this case, it's more of an upper elementary school activity to add to your About Me book. We already covered Animate Your Name. This one here, you can obviously think of a lot of activities, the standard activity of what did you do over summer vacation, or write about your family. Those are all prompts that are pretty common when you go back to school. And then they can write, they can add some pictures, add a voiceover. So this kind of covers that. And tomorrow we're going to cover the 2 truths, 1 lie, which is upper elementary school, and it adds more of a gamification factor to your story. So it's not just I'm going to read something and then whether or not I read it or not, nobody will know if I read it.
That sounds like a lot of fun. I think the kids are really going to enjoy the gamification part of it.
Yeah, and so then you can be like, which one is the lie? And
That would be a good first week of school lesson for those of us in the north who haven't started yet, because they could do something about, well, what did I do over the summer? Two truths and a lie, and
yeah,
a great ice breaking lesson.
definitely. And it could be, since it's all online, once it's published, students can read each other's stories. So it's asynchronous. And right now we have comments enabled in elementary. So if you create a classroom, students can then comment on stories and just, be like, oh, that's really cool. I like this too. Or, what? I can't believe you don't like, X. And you can start building a community that way, which is really crucial, especially during this time period.
Yeah, it really lets them be collaborate with each other, especially if they're not able to see each other in person.
Okay,
Stories.
so I'm getting, what? I have a Facebook message I'm hearing from my partner. Let's see. Yes. Can you add your own images? Yes. So right now you cannot add your own images, but we are building that into the system within the next couple of weeks. This will be enabled only for paid plans, and that's really mostly because we have privacy and copyright concerns. So we want to just make sure that people aren't just uploading pictures of themselves, which is really the key point that we want to not have on the platform. We don't want any pictures of anybody on any story. And I feel really strongly about that. So I don't want any kids' pictures, whether or not their parents gave consent or whatever. I don't want any of that on any stories. Instead, I really want us to focus more on how we can bring student voice through other ways that are not just, this is what my face looks like, but more like, what are my ideas about, what my code runs, and make it more project oriented rather than, my face oriented. Even though all of you have beautiful faces and it looks really good and it's really good for marketing, I don't want it.
There were so many different images to choose from. I'm just going to click on images for a minute. And I just typed in girl, and there's so many beautiful anime options. I mean, there's just choice after choice. I mean, there's so many options that are here that are available. So I don't think that the students need to have anything for themselves. I just picked something, off the top, and I wanted something, with food. But there's just so many options here that I don't think they need to be able to have their own images.
Yeah, but for paid plans, we will be enabling that. And of course, under that circumstances, or under any circumstances, when students publish their stories, the teacher does need to approve of the stories before they can be public. So we do have that enabled. What's the best age for students for elementary school? That's another question on Facebook. And really, for elementary school students, I've seen it used in cases I never imagined, aka I never imagined elementary being used at a pre-K level. I'm like, they can't read. Like, they literally cannot read yet, let alone write. But they were using it as a collaborative writing tool. So that would be like the students would get together, and this is before, remote learning and making things difficult for everyone. But I could still see it used in a synchronous learning environment where you ask the student, like, okay, everyone, let's vote what character from this list should be on the page. What's the character's name? What does she say? What does she want? What does she like? Okay, you want a dragon on the page? And really, it's teacher driven, so the teacher would need to code everything. And in their case, they made audio picture books. So the kids chose the image and put it all together, and then they had the recordings, and you had the cacophony of sounds in the background, and then they would play it.
I'm almost thinking that would be a great idea for like the first lesson, just doing it as a group project together. This way the class, especially the classes who are not seeing each other in person, face to face, this would be a great way to collaborate and just get the students to get to know each other and their new teacher. and the teacher can share just the same way I'm sharing, and everybody can work together on one. And this way it would introduce them before they go out and work on their own asynchronously.
Mm-hmm. For sure. That's what you should do with kindergarten next week, is what
Yeah,
Diana
no,
Shu said.
but I'm even thinking about doing that with my upper elementary. This way they get to learn the program, but they get to learn about each other as well.
Mm-hmm.
So,
For sure. I would say for coding, unless they are comfortable with technology, like they understand how a web browser works, what tabs are, how to go to an address, logging in, that they typically shouldn't use it prior to first grade independently, simply because it's a struggle to just open up Chrome and not closing it in 2 seconds after you open it. So that's going to be a bit of a challenge. But if they're used to technology, we've also seen first graders just use it to create picture books. So ignore the coding completely. They just write picture books. One really fun example that I've seen is The Secret Life of Mrs., whatever the teacher's name is. And the student would come up with what the secret life of that teacher was like. And so you have all sorts of crazy things like, oh, he's a secret agent, or did you know that Mrs. Blah, blah, blah comes to the school at night and does this? It's like, okay, kid.
Very cute.
Another idea is the I Spy hidden picture books. I think we'll probably do that at some point. That's really fun. And that's just when students are learning keyboarding skills. So they're writing very simple sentences like, where is Ducky? Ducky is in the library. And then you have to find where Ducky is in the library. And kids really like that because they can play with each other's stories, and they'll actually read each other's stories because they'll want to know where Ducky is or something like that. So that's great.
That would be great, not just for the early elementary, but that would be great for the English language learners as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or any language learner. So if you teach Spanish, French, the website is translated in Spanish, French, Greek, Portuguese, Italian, something else maybe.
That's
German.
fantastic.
German. We have a really great German translation. I guarantee the German translation is 100% perfect for the most part.
Now, I'm wondering if our here in the States, if the students who are studying those languages would be able to use it and write it in the language that they're studying, for example, German, and just write their whole book in German.
Yeah, we had that done at the high school level. I think junior high, I did talk to a junior high Spanish teacher, and he said it's a little bit difficult for them still, since they're still learning the very, very basics. But at high school level, we've seen them write and practice conjugating verbs, for example. That's a very common thing that happens. You have to practice conjugating verbs when you go to learn a language.
Yeah, I think that the high school teachers would really like that, because especially with, like we keep talking about, this remote learning, it would give them something else, something interesting, and let the students really be able to be creative.
Okay, so I have a question, which is how many students can work on the same project at the same time? So that's a great question. I get that question a lot. And technically, you could only have one student working on one project at the same time. So that means only I can work on my project. But we have something called Remixes, and that allows you to take someone else's work and modify and change it. So one example of how you can do this is you can do a story chain, where one student starts the story, like starts and writes the first couple pages, publishes it, then another student takes that story and remixes it and adds a couple other pages to the story. So in that way, students can still work collaboratively, but it's not synchronously. It's not like Google Slides or Google Docs, where we think of hundreds of kids on the same document at the same time. Instead, we think of it more as like a asynchronous activity that you can just kind of break up. Or it could be an activity where you can do collaborations between, different classes, things like that.
That's fantastic because they could just keep adding on to their story. So that's a great idea.
Yeah, I think a really fun thing would be to do like, you know how sometimes they have the letter that goes across America, or like the photos or images that get mailed
Hmm.
across all different schools. You can kind of do something virtually, but it's like one story goes across to different schools.
Oh, I think that's a fantastic idea. Maybe we should start that on the Facebook group
Yeah, that'd be really
and see
good.
if anybody would be interested in doing something like that. I like that idea.
Yeah, we will definitely have lots of things to do. I am still trying to figure everything out. Any last questions before we sign out so I can let Paige go? Do you have any questions for Paige? She's very experienced as a wonderful teacher. And I think that's it. So
All right,
thank
well, you can definitely contact either Nicole or I and ask us any questions if you come up with any. You can find us both on Twitter or on the Elementary Facebook page.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Paige, for your time and just everything that you've done. Hopefully, that after going through this a little bit, you'll have a better understanding of how elementary works, how you can use it in your classroom. And I hope this experience and this video will help other teachers who have no experience at all feel more comfortable with using a new technology like elementary. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
I really look forward to doing this when we get back with our classes. Thank you so much for inviting me to be a special guest. I really appreciate it.
Okay. And I guess we're signing out. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.